himself today. All right, everybody, I'm going to let Will introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Will Heeman, and I am the third generation of Heemans that have been on our family farm, as Ali just said, just outside of the London airport, where we grow strawberries and we have a greenhouse. And this business, I work alongside my dad, my mom, my brother, my sisters, as well as my aunt and my grandparents who emigrated all the way from Holland. They founded this farm, or they moved to this farm, and we founded this business way back in 1963. And back at that time, they had one cow and a very small batch of about a half acre of strawberries. And the cow isn't with us anymore, but we definitely do have lots of strawberries, and that's one of the things that we're famous for. And as a person who was growing up in there, I always grew up around the greenhouse. My grandfather would tell me to go play in the piles of peat moss, which is the soil, the potting soil. He'd just be like, hey, take some home, put it in your pockets. But I have had a lifelong apprenticeship working inside the business here. And today what we're gonna do is show you guys around a little bit at what we have going on here today. And Heemans is open 12 months of the year. So we're open year round. There's always something going on or growing on, whether it's our strawberries or if you've been out to get all the plants for your garden. Today, what you're going to be seeing is lots of outdoor and indoor seasonal decor to decorate for the Christmas season and the winter season. And we're going to look at some house plants as well. We're right at the entrance of the garden center part. And one of the things that you'll notice is lots of lovely people coming in, as well as with their pets. So Heemans is very pet friendly. Hi, buddy. And we also have wide accessible doors at all the entrances. So it's completely touch free and accessible. And one of the things that we always have, whether you are like my grandmother was, where you have a walker you're going around, or whether you're like my son, where you have a stroller and you're going around, 100% of our greenhouse operation throughout the entire space is paved and flat. So it's something that you can get around to every inch of the space, which we'll show you guys as we get into it. This area, if you guys have ever been to Heemans before, and if you have, let us know in the comments what your favorite thing is to when you're out here. But this is a space that really changes up, because if you're coming in the spring season, we usually have all the hanging baskets that are growing up in the roof, and then we have all the patio pots and the things you might put at the front of your space. And today we have wreaths and we have winter urn arrangements. And these are things that our team has been building and creating in the back. And so we have right now we have about 22 different designers who are out there cutting all the evergreens and sticking them into the pots and preparing and getting all of those ready for people. So we're gonna take a look at them here. And these are gonna be like those planters that you might have sitting out front of your front door to decorate for the winter season. If anyone is decorating for the winter season, it's a really easy time to decorate, because most people don't have to worry about watering them too much or fertilizing them too much, which is really great. The only thing that you really have to worry about, if you do have any of your winter planters that you've already bought or you're thinking about making or bringing home to your space, is to water them when the temperatures are above zero, because like, oh my goodness, it's a lots of fun going on in the background. But like cut flowers, if you've ever got a bouquet of cut flowers, they can actually draw up the water. And the same thing with all of your evergreens. So they're actually in those pots and soaking up the water. So if you do have those at home, it would be a really good idea to make sure you're watering them if the temperatures are above zero. And we're gonna keep going inside the greenhouse here. I really wish that you could experience the scent in here, because it almost smells like you had one of those fresh evergreen candles. We do have a lot of beautiful fresh cut pine boughs and fir and cedar, so it smells lovely in here. Rihanna is one of our decorators, so she just finished designing and decorating up these different ones. So we have a lot of people who like to come in and have everything already decorated, completely done for them, so they can just take it, bring it home, and look really smart, like they've made it all themselves, and then other people who actually really like to do that themselves and make them all by themselves. So we have all the ingredients to either make them 100% from scratch, or we have some, like Ali can show straight ahead, that are made and beautifully full but not decorated, so that you can basically decorate them yourselves. These are undressed. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna head over into this space. If you've been to Heemans before, you know it's a pretty big place. Our farm is situated on 25 acres, and then that's even more at this point. We farm over 400 acres, and we have, as we said, strawberries in the greenhouse, but we also have raspberries and corn and beans and wheat, as well as a whole bunch of other different crops that are growing out in the field. And inside the greenhouse, we have up to 150 people that work at Heemans in the greenhouse to keep us on top of things. And we have everything from houseplants and vegetables to annuals and trees and shrubs. And right now, just in our houseplant section, we have a lot, over 600 different kinds of houseplants. So I don't know if you guys have a lot of houseplants in your home, but we definitely have lots of different ones for people who are looking to add one to their collection. When you're going in through here, you can again notice that everything is open. We like to have nice wide aisles so people can actually get through. And we also have things marked for directional errors with COVID right now, just to make sure that everyone is safe when they're in. We're gonna head this way. We're gonna take a look at some of the houseplants that we have. Of course, when you're at a place, you always need to make sure that you know where all the important things are. At Heemans, those include where the sundaes and coffee are, as well as where the washrooms are. So we have 4 washrooms that are here, and we also have another one just around the corner, which is accessible. So this is the one that if you do need to use the washroom while you're here, we have one that's suitable with grab rails, as well as a change table in there, and it's fully capable of fitting a car seat, or sorry, a stroller or a walker, or and like that. So that is there in case you do come out and need to use the washroom. So when you're in here, one when I
You get them?
Okay. So where we were leaving off, leaving you in suspense, that one of the things that I love when you come into the greenhouse is to feel that warmth and that energy of being surrounded by the plants. There's that particular smell that I love so much with that, and there's that humidity, almost that natural feel in there. So you can see in here that we have lots of bright natural light, and the houseplants really, really enjoy it because it's very much like almost like the jungle that a lot of these plants are growing up in. But we have houseplants that are on the floor. We have houseplants on the tables. We have houseplants that are going up in the roof even, and then above those, we even grow some plants up there. So I always like, when I am coming into a greenhouse, is to not only look around you, but also to look up, because there's lots of space that's in there. And I did mention that we are Dutch, and that means that we're paying good money for lots of to heat this place. And I would gladly, I don't know you guys, I'm sure you're lovely people, but I would gladly change your heating bill for mine any day of the week. So when we are making sure that these plants are comfortable and happy in here, we like to make sure that we're maximizing the amount of usable space that we're working with. One thing you might also notice in here is that we have this cage. This is not plant jail. These are not plants that did anything bad. These are just really valuable and rare plants that unfortunately some collectors would like to have in their spot. So just like we're on camera today, we have Ali is also on our camera, because sometimes people just like to make these part of their collection as well. So when we go through, I'm just going to walk you guys around. We're going to go check out our air plants, and these are a plant that actually grow without having any roots at all, and they pull the moisture out of the air to keep themselves alive. That's okay. We can move to the new spot where we're doing that, and then settle in.
Yeah, might be better. Got it.
Is it working? Yeah. Okay. And we're back. These are like commercial breaks. I did a whole bunch of stuff in between. So in this space, one of the things, just like in your home where you might have different light levels and you might walk into a room in the morning and it's very bright, so you have to pull the curtains or open them up. In our greenhouse right now, we're actually on the southern side. So you can notice on this wall, it's very bright. So even when we're growing our different plants, we like to put them in spots where they're going to really thrive. So that's where on this side, we have a lot of our succulents and cactus that really like to have that bright, warm space to grow in. And we were talking before about air plants, and we have them on this wall here. So air plants don't have any roots at all. And the first time that we brought in air plants, my grandfather, he thought that they were a cutting, which is like a little piece that was taken off. And he's like, oh my gosh, we need to get these guys into soil right away so that they don't die. But they actually don't need any roots at all. They just kind of like hang out in nature, and they actually pull all the humidity they need to live right from the air all around them through these little fuzzy things they have on them called trichomes. Fun little fact about those. You find them a lot growing in like jungles and even in the south where they would be hanging out on trees or rocks or anything like that. So they're kind of in the same family as an orchid because they grow on but not off of things. So they could be hanging out on a rock but not pulling energy from it. So we're gonna keep heading back over this way, and we're gonna go check out some of the other seasonal plants we have, specifically some Christmas cactus and some poinsettias as well. So along the way, we have lots of colorful cactus and succulents, maybe a few that you might recognize from your day or from around your house, because one of the things that we notice with houseplants especially is that what was once popular is popular again. So my grandmother, she grew up in Oldsmere, which is on a carnation farm, but in photos from her growing up as a little girl in her home, we spotted lots of different houseplants that were around their house, which are still very popular with houseplant fans today as well. Sorry, guys. We're just gonna head this way. We have a whole big rainbow of pots, basically. So they're all kinds of different ones, because as people have the right plant in their house, you got to have the right pot for it as well. So there's lots of different colors of pots. Hi, buddy. How are you? We're going to keep going. And this might be kind of funny to notice, but if you, in this section above me right now, we actually have a roof. It almost looks like a little tiki shed or something like that in the greenhouse. And this is because we sell some plants that actually like to be in lower light. These are plants that might grow under some big trees and jungles and things like that. And so in the greenhouse, one of the struggles that we have is sometimes we get too much light. So we actually have to create a shaded spot to grow them so that they can stay nice and happy and healthy with us. We're gonna head over this way.
Will, we had one question.
Yeah.
Are
All right.
are your house plants identified or labeled if they are pet friendly?
That's a great question. And we can walk over this way because we have an entire section with all of our pet friendly house plants all together. We have a little handout that we have in store. And actually our graphic team was just making a brand new giant sign that's going to say pet friendly house plants right here. But it's just right straight ahead of us here. You can see those ladies that are right over there. Everything that's in that area, there's a sign at the back that says pet friendly houseplants, and we have a list that's there. We also have a list on our website, as well as some videos on that are accessible online as well, that feature a whole bunch of different plants that we have. So if you like this kind of video, we have one that we put out on Instagram where I cover a whole bunch of them and show each of them off so you guys can look at them, because It's really nice when you know exactly what you can't have or you can have, because there is so many options, just even in houseplants, as we were talking about before, to have 600 choices when you're only just trying to find one. It's good to I sometimes think of it as playing the game Guess Who. I don't know if you guys have played that game before, but it's like, can it be tolerant of low light? No? Okay, get rid of it. Is it good for my pets? No? Okay, get rid of it. And then it starts to narrow down your options so that it's not so overwhelming when you are trying to find just the right one. Over in this section, um, this is a section where we have even more poinsettias, and a poinsettia is a really popular plant for around the holiday season. I don't know if there's any botanists or green thumbs on this call. I'm gonna guess that there's a few. I'm sure there's some good talent in this call, but two little fun facts about poinsettias is that the poinsettia, we really prize it for the color that we get on these leaves, but these are actually not the plant's flower. The flower is actually in the center. And so when you're shopping for a poinsettia, you know that it's going to be a good one if you're actually getting one where the buds are still nice and fat and tight. As we get closer to the shortest day of the year, around December 22nd, these plants will get more and more colorful and the flowers will start to open up. They are famous for being kept in the house around Christmas season, but they actually are aware of how bright it is and how the days are getting shorter, and that's how they know to color up more and for the flowers to start to open up and actually look really pretty. We have a question. Our hours right now are, we're open every day, Monday to Friday, from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. and on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. And our Instagram account is at Heemans, Heemans. And we have, if you are familiar with Instagram, there's a section there for all these different videos that we posted. If you can go on there, or if you go on our YouTube channel, you'll find a lot of different videos as well, that you could be a little rabbit hole that you can go down learning all kinds of different things about humans and plants and strawberries and the whole bit. We have some videos that have already been watched over 750,000 times. So there is some really popular stuff on there. In this section here, when we are, if you've ever had a poinsettia, what we always find that is really helpful to make sure that you're doing really well with it is knowing when to water it. My grandfather, my opa, if any of you are Dutch out there, is that the lowest leaves right on the side, when the plant is starting to need to be watered, these lowest leaves will start to just droop just a little bit. The top will still look fine, but these lowest ones will droop just a little bit, and that's how you'll know that your plant needs to be watered. And in order to do really, really well with your poinsettia, we like to keep it in a bright space, but away from a really drafty space. So this means one where there's a register that might be turning on all the time, a window that might be a little leaky, or a really popular doorway or entry that people are going to be coming in and out all the time, blasting with cold air from outside or brushing up against it. They basically want to be appreciated from afar, but not be bothered too much. They don't like a lot of change. So one of the fun things about pronunciation on plants, including poinsettia, which was put out there, is that there is more than one way to pronounce lots of things. And even when we're talking about houseplants and sometimes perennials, people get really hung up on the pronunciation of either common names or Latin names. So I call it a poinsettia. We don't really emphasize the T because it's not in there, but some people really call them a poinsettia. But the poinsettia was actually named after a gentleman from Mexico, and so that's why it's a poinsett, and that was his last name. And that's where even a Martha Washington geranium, I don't know, it's a pretty popular geranium around the May time, that was actually named after Martha Washington, who was the wife of the first president of the US. So sometimes these plants are named after famous people, but sometimes it can just be downright confusing because there is a whole bunch of different plants that all share the same name. We have a lot of plants that people will come in asking for, and you need them to be more specific because there's a lot of common names. Do we offer classes? We usually offer a lot of great classes to make a whole bunch of different things around the Christmas season. Right now, we were just talking about it before this call, actually, about how far in advance we have to plan all of our different seasons because of how much time it takes us to get the items that we need for our season. So this Christmas season right now, the items that you're looking at that we are working with, we had to order them back in January. And if you remember, in January, we were in a lockdown at that time. So this year, we don't have any workshops or classes scheduled for this period. But in a traditional season, when things are normal, I'm going to do air quotes, normal, you guys are used to that. We usually do around 100 classes in the November, December period. How many different types of poinsettias there are? There are not too many different types of poinsettias, not compared to some other things where you might have like a geranium where there's double geraniums, or the seed geraniums and ivy geraniums. There's really, if we're talking about different varieties of geraniums, there are thousands. But sold at Heemans, we have about a dozen different varieties of poinsettias. Of course, there's the classic reds and whites and pinks that you can see behind us here, but we also like to have some of the ones that you might not see elsewhere. So we're gonna go over to the other side, and I can show you guys some of the other colors that are over there. One of my personal favorites is called Jingle Bells, or Red Glitter, and that's because, you know, good help is so hard to find. Alex, keep it straight here.
Sorry.
Ali and I are friends. We've known each other for a while. She's a lovely person. So we're just it's warm in the greenhouse. She's changing out of her jacket, and I'm regretting wearing a sweater right now. So I don't know about you guys, but this furnace is we don't need to run them during the daytime, but at night they'll be working nice and hard. But we have a couple of varieties of poinsettias that are pretty cool, like Red Glitter, which we can walk over and check out. And even one called Tapestry, which I think looks like stained glass because it's got a lot of different tones to it. But in here, as we go through, you can see that there's so much room for activities. And this is our regular space that we like to have set up, because for a multiple of factors, making sure that people have lots of space to get around, making sure that it's very safe when you are in here, especially with COVID, making sure that people have lots of room to spread around. And then also making sure that there's lots of room for the carts and for any wheelchairs and anything else like that. We just like to make sure there's lots of space so people can get around and do it comfortably when they're here at Heemans. Just beyond that, you can see that we have some curtains that are up, and that's because just even behind there, we're making bows, we're receiving lots of stuff, we're pricing things and putting them out. But as we said, this space, we have over 3 acres of greenhouses and we have over 70,000 square feet of space dedicated to our retail. And so right now in this greenhouse that we're in, this is about maybe 10,000 square feet, maybe a little bit less. And wow. There was a question from Andre about, do we allow photographers to come in and take pictures? We definitely do. We just like when people let us know that they're coming in, especially because I don't know if you've seen, but while we've been doing this, there's a few people that are kind of like screwing, like they want to know if they're going to be on camera, but we are more than happy to share our space with photographers to come in and take pictures of any of the beautiful plants. And there's a question from Jim and Wendy about online ordering for customer pickup. We don't offer online ordering at this point because we have so many different things, and with the plants, sometimes they're in or they're growing and then they're getting to be established where they can do it. But we still do offer phone order and curbside pickup for all the items that we have here. Ali might remember from her experience here, but we grow literally millions of plants, and we have up to 150 people that are helping us to do that. And so when we were doing everything online last year, at the beginning of the season, we had over 7,000 items online, and that didn't even represent even half of what we were selling. So we do have a lot of things to count. But Jim and Wendy, if you want to help me count everything, we might be able to do that once again. So we're just going to walk back this way. You can see that we have some of our benches in here that are empty. This is we have new ones that we like to spread out and space out. One of the tricks with plants is they're like people. They like to be around other people, but they don't like to be so close. If you have other plants that are growing into each other, like poinsettias that are touching, they will actually start to grow up, and then they get really thin in the middle. And that's where you might notice some of the greenhouse or at a grocery store where they're pretty thin and you can see right through them. We like to be able to pick up a poinsettia and have it be as wide as it is tall and not be able to see right through it. Because if you can see right through it, then it's usually a little spindly. So with these benches that we have here, one of the things that's really important to Heemans is our environmental stewardship. We want to make sure that we've been doing business here as a family for 58 years. I'm 97. Have I mentioned this? You eat strawberries every day and you can look as good as me. I'm kidding. But one of the things that's important to us is environmental stewardship. And so we've been doing lots of things on our efforts to conserve water, to reduce our impact. We just put up over 260 solar panels. So we're now generating up to 60% of our energy with the sun's rays, and using these flood tables where we are actually watering from the bottom and then capturing 100% of the water that's not used and bringing that away, draining it away, filtering it, and reusing it. We can drastically reduce how much water we're using to grow all of our crops as well. And the strawberries, as compared to when I was a little kid, we're using 75% less water now than we did before.
Speaking of strawberries.
John, good question. I like where your head's at with that strawberry question. So strawberries are no longer available at this time. Well, we have greenhouses and we have strawberries. We do not grow strawberries in greenhouses at Heeman. We have tried doing that before, but we have not yet found a recipe or a variety in a growing system that makes them taste just amazing. We think that Florida and California and a lot of other ones are really good at producing a cheap, okay tasting strawberry. And until we can make a really great tasting strawberry that we can continue to do them in the greenhouse, right now we just do them in the field. So last year, our last day of the season was on November 12th. So we were selling poinsettias and evergreens, and we had the Christmas trees up, and we were selling strawberries too. I'm gonna pause because that's the roof. So our greenhouses are fully automated. So if it gets too warm, the roofs will open up, and that noise that we just heard meant that the greenhouse is now getting so warm that we're actually going to let out some of the warm air outside to keep it nice and comfortable inside. So Allie doesn't need to take off her sweater now. Yeah, but yeah. Sometimes these airbags will like inflate, and that's just our furnace kicking on as well. But we're talking about water conservation, and in the next greenhouse that we're going to go into, which if you've ever been to Heemans, I guarantee you've been through that greenhouse because it's right near the front. It's where we also have our it's where the lineup is now for like the sundaes and the shortcakes and all that stuff. And it was the first greenhouse that we ever built way back in the 70s. And that greenhouse, the floor is heated and the perimeter is heated. And so just like maybe your bath, like your house is fully heated on the floor, so it keeps it nice and warm efficiently. Come through here, a little bit busier in this area. What you're not seeing is that people are scurrying. They're like, there's a camera there, get out of the way. And that's totally okay. So with this space here, we change it over all the time. So if you're into Heemans, we're open 12 months of the year. And in January and February and March, we're selling houseplants, and we might be doing yoga in the greenhouse or other events, and we'll be growing and preparing. We've already started growing the plants for your garden in the spring of 2022. We started back in June of 2021. So it's a full cycle. We're always growing and preparing for something. And today in here, you can see that it is Christmas and winter, baby. So we have our beautiful trees that are set up, and our focus on our winter season is really on decorating for outdoors. A lot of these picks that are on the trees are not actually ornaments that are hanging, but they're actually picks on sticks. So when we started in the walkway there, we were showing some of the things that are in the arrangements. And we also, if you want to make and decorate your own, we offer those too. So these trees that are here are all decorated with the things that are all around them. So this is our natural and red themed tree. So all the things in the buckets below them are matching those colors. Is it working again?
We do. We're back.
Okay. And we're back. Thank you so much for that brief intermission. And so there was a question from, I think it was Ralph, about tropical plants. So technically the plants that we were just seeing, the house plants, are all tropical. Now, if you want to talk to a nurseryman like myself, a tropical plant refers to a plant that is going to be growing outside, that traditionally needs a lot of heat, maybe like from the Caribbean or from Hawaii or something like that, that is flowering and that is not going to come back into the house. All of those plants are indoor plants, and they could of course go outside as well, but they are called like house plants. But we do have a section for tropical plants that we sell in April, May, June, July. But we also have our house plant section, which is always somewhere in there, but also can really morph and get really big depending on the season. We embrace all the different seasons each time. So we do love our seasons here. Okay, and we're back. So we are gonna go check out Courtney's section over here, and this is a space where we are decorating. And so in this area, this is where we do all the custom pieces, unique orders that people might have. And today, Courtney is working on some of the welcome planters that we have. She's working on these ones. Courtney is extremely talented, and she's making these planters for Nancy. And so these are ones that person had the container and they knew exactly what they wanted, so they're bringing it back. And then over here on this workbench, we have another one. These are for another client. These are window boxes. So for the winter season, if you have your own containers and you want us to plant into them, people will bring them to us, and then our design team will work on them. Or if you want them already made, that's where we have our 20+ people who are working in the back doing those. I'm just going to show you guys these. It's like I'm like a bouncer in a bar here. We're just going to go behind the velvet curtain here for 1 second. So these are some of the examples of custom creations that we have made for people. These are the smaller ones that we're doing. We're doing some really large ones for the veterans at Parkwood, and then we're also doing a few others for Anderson's. We have their planter here, and then a few others. So these are going to a funeral home, which is why we have the carnation, or the cardinal, sorry, in there. Can you tell I got flowers on the brain? You got me thinking about spring, getting all excited. But we actually, this is not a wreath, but this is actually just a metal ring that our team has figured out how to use, of the roping that you might use to wrap around your railing or door at your house, and we wrap that around there, and then we can put lights in here even as well, and then it all lights up at night too. So this is a design that we're doing for them, and we're doing 9 more even bigger than these for other clients. So we have lots of fun stuff there. And then you can see just in the back here, we met Rianne before, and so she works in this corner. And so we make over 3,000 of these planters for the winter season. And before the 5th of November, we already had over 1,000 made up. So what happens is some of them will just go out to be sold for you guys to decorate, and then others get brought to our design team that decorates them in here before bringing them out. How many people do you have making these? So custom planters like this, we have 2. We have Courtney and we have Anna. And doing all the other ones, as we just said, we look at it collectively as a big team, because we have even these pots that we use for these. These are prepared by somebody, and they're soaking all the oasis, which is a floral foam that goes inside them, plus the soil. Plus we have a team of cutters who are cutting all the different greens and making sure that they're basically coming from 5-foot long branches off of trees and cutting them into the right size pieces so they're just ready to go. In total, we have over 20 people working on doing all of that. Fastest person could take something from this and make one of the big ones and do 56 of them in one day. Yeah, she's almost got smoke coming off her when she's going that fast. Have you done YouTube videos on how to make them? Yes, we have. We have done that. And so we've done videos on that. The video that does the entire process from start to finish is a private video that we made and don't share at this time, because usually we have the in-store experience of doing the workshop. And so last year when we weren't open for doing that, we made a video that was like everything, all of my jokes. I was hilarious. I walked you through everything. But obviously at this point now, As we do workshops again, we are not sharing that with her so that they can just like get the whole experience.
Let me show them all these poinsettias.
So in this area, you can see more of the poinsettias that Ali is getting on camera for you. And we have over 5,000 poinsettias that we sell at Heemans, which is actually a lot less than what we used to. When we grew the poinsettias from start to finish, we would grow over 10,000, but now we just don't have space for them because in our fall season, we're pretty famous for our fall mums. We grew over 30,000 9-inch mums that we grew here and sold here, and we don't do any wholesale on any of our plants now, but we have a lot of people that come out and really count on us to get some really nice quality ones. So in this case, we were talking before about some unique varieties of poinsettia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys over there to see them now. So we have these cute little rosemary trees and lavender trees, which, I mean, okay, we'll try this. We'll just scratch and sniff. Can you smell your camera now? Did that work? No, just me. Oh, what you can imagine what rosemary and lavender smell like. It smells lovely in here with these guys. And then we also have our little cute little Christmas trees. This is a variety that we're talking about called tapestry. And the tapestry, there will be more of these that will be turning this red color as we go. You'll start to see them start to tone up and change in color like this one here. But I really think that's just really pretty and beautiful. And we also have, this one is called Little Mouse. And you can see that all the leaves are these cute little rounded shapes, almost like a little mouse's ears. And they're starting to turn. You'll see that there's a lot of them. There's not too much red yet, and that's because they're right on schedule. Sometimes if you buy them really early, or you carry one over from year to year because you have that green thumb and you just can't help it, the plants just love to be in your care. Having lots of lights that are on in our house turning on and off will introduce artificial day lengths and can mess up the timing of your poinsettia because they're used to days getting a little shorter, little shorter, little shorter, and that's how they know when it's ready for time to be in bloom. We have just beyond here, we have this one is a gold color one. This is not your screen messing up. We have this color, which is gold. We have another color of white over there. We have another color of white over there. And then if you're thinking, you know what, Will, that kind of looks like my white t-shirts after I've had them for a few years, or if I need to really wash them, then we have another variety which we can go over and see. And those ones are fancy dancy ones called a Princettia. And those ones now, they are pure white. Now to me, friends, that one is white. That's a little premium one, so you gotta pay a little extra for that. I have to pay a little extra, which means you have to too. You ever have in-store raffles for customers? We don't often have in-store raffles. We run lots of different giveaways or contests sometimes on our social media. The last time that we had a really big raffle was when we turned 50, and we had a big party with Jim and Wendy. We did it up, and we had lots and lots of prizes, over 600 prizes that we were doing through that. But generally speaking, we don't have a lot of that happening here. So did I mention we're Dutch? We're just too cheap to just give everything away. Come on. I often joke with people, you don't want to get a deal out of a Dutch person. And that's how we made the copper wire stretching out a penny, you know? But so we're just over in this section here. We have some of our indoor decor for our Christmas season. So we have snow globes and things like that are in here, and that's to hang. And then just over here, we have a couple of things. This is my sister Bridget. Hi, Bridget. So Bridget is this is my sister Bridget, and she's one of our buyers. And so we have a couple of features of local artisans. So these are candles from the Thamesford Candle Company, and they're based out of Thamesford, and they have some lovely candles in there. And we also have, this is from a Ladybug Pottery, and this is a lady just on the, actually 1 kilometer that way, and these are all handmade pottery things that she does. So this is our area where we're featuring those two local artisans. And then we have lots of other stuff that's in here. Cute little things to sit, things to hang, things to mount. We're frozen.
We're frozen.
Previously on Will Heeman Tours the Greenhouse.
Our receptionist said that she loves your go with the flow.
Okay, here's another question too.
Is it going again? You guys see me again? Do you, what do you, yeah. Okay. You tell, Anita, tell us when we're good again.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna faint over there.
Still frozen. Previously on this episode of Will Heeman Tours, we were on the greenhouse. We were talking about our local artisans in a very white poinsettia. And now we're on to this section here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Did I mention we're also in the country? So I appreciate your patience. There was a question about the plant doctor, and does the plant doctor make house calls? Specifically, can we diagnose or work with you on fixing any problems that you might have with plants? Uh-oh, I'm frozen.
Maybe we head back towards this way.
Oh, there we go again. My gosh, I chose a great spot to be frozen in, just like this. I hope every time we're frozen, it's a flattering image of me. But anyways, we were talking about if you have problems with your plants, we are happy to work with you on that. Most people in this day and age are reaching out to us either by coming into this, but a lot of people will send us photos on Facebook or Instagram. We have somebody who's dedicated full time to just answering those questions throughout the day. She'll pop on there. And so a lot of people, it's like it's most helpful to have a photo of the plant to get like a breakdown of what's going on with it. But we're happy to help you, especially if you bought it from us. But even that, we want to make sure that we're sharing our expertise and helping you if you have an issue with a plant. So you can do that online or in store. And then we're just going to keep going over here. This is lots more of the indoor stuff. So everything from wreaths and things to hang indoors or out, garlands, lots of fun stuff like that. I did want to pop you guys over to this as well. So one of the things that we do each season and each year is we at our Christmas season we have our photo wall here. So in the past you might have seen our big joy wall. So we want to spread joy, and when people tag us up with photos of these online, we like to donate to that. So if anyone is coming in and you are so inclined, and you're using a Zoom thing, you guys we're all modern. Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about before how you guys are very techie now because we're doing this live Zoom thing. But if you do come in, we have this photo backdrop wall, and for every photo that people share on Instagram or Twitter, because on Facebook, the privacy settings, we can't see it. But for every photo, tweet, story, whatever, we donate $5 to the local mental health association with the CMHA Thames Valley. And a couple years ago, we did Alzheimer's actually, because my grandmother had Alzheimer's as well. So we're gonna come over this way, and then we're gonna pop over to the beanery. But one of the newer things that we do at Heemans is we are beekeepers. We have over 150 beehives. We have over 70 acres of strawberries and as well as raspberries, and we keep bees. And so when you come in, we have lots of our different Heemans honey. And the difference between our honey and maybe some of the other ones that you see is that we like to do single varietals. So think of it like normally you would get honey and they just say it's honey. And so at our place, we like to know, we introduce our bees into fields where it might be like 300 acres of just sunflowers. So this is sunflower honey, and each one of them will have a slightly different flavor and color to them. So we have everything from buckwheat honey and sunflower honey to Carolinian gold, which is our regular wildflower honey that we have. We also have goldenrod and fall aster. We even have berry blossom, which is exclusively raspberry and strawberry blossom honey. This is definitely our most popular because, I mean, where else are you gonna get that, right? So we have watermelon, and we have a whole bunch of other different ones. And in case you're asking, no, the watermelon or the strawberry blossom doesn't taste like strawberries or watermelons, but it does have a distinctly honey flavor that is different enough that if you're a very cultured honey connoisseur, you will be able to pick out the difference. Then we move on to our hard cider. So we, a couple years ago, made our very first batch of hard cider. And that was a small batch of about 1,000 liters. Not about, it was 1,000 liters. We sold out in one day. So he said, you know what, I think people like these. So now we have production, and we have a lot more than there's more than 1,000 liters just right here on the floor at this moment. But we make lots of different hard ciders from apple and pear juice, as well as different flavored ones. Our most popular is our berry blush, which is made with Heemans strawberries, Heeman raspberries, as well as apple juice. And then we have, so today in the store, we have 8 different ones. This is a whiskey sour. So it's a pear, or technically a perry if you want. That's made with 100% pear juice, aged in whiskey barrels, Canadian whiskey barrels, and then we soured it. So it tastes like a whiskey sour if you've ever had that drink. And then we have our dry empire. And this is one that we're really proud of because before we ever had it for sale, we pulled off some, we submitted it to the cider competition here in Ontario and won 2nd overall in the entire province before we ever sold a single bottle of it. But now we have over 8 of our ciders have been ranked gold or top of class, gold, silver, or top of class in the international cider competition that happened in Michigan. One of ours finished 3rd in the world against 2 from England. So that was pretty special for us. This one is, yeah. So this is, we have a bunch of different ones. This is Dutch crumble, and we like this one because it mentioned we're Dutch. So my brother, who's our master cider maker, his inspiration with this was my Oma's Dutch crumble apple pie. And so this one tastes just like an apple pie, basically in a bottle. Tastes like more, to be honest. There was a question about, so sometimes we have 2 schools of thought here with these. So this is, these bottles are 750 mils, so it's the same size as a wine bottle. This is ambrosia, which is technically a cider. It's a mix of mead and cider. And if anyone knows what mead is, post that in the comment section, because that I'd love to have a poll of how many people know what mead is. We'll get back to that in a second. But when we do have a bottle this big, some people are like, please, like, I'm not going to finish the whole thing. And other people, they want to enjoy a little bit and then reseal it. So this is actually a swing top bottle, so you can actually pop it open, enjoy it, and then close it and get a real good seal on it and put it away back in the fridge to enjoy on another date and not have it go bad. One of the questions that we get with our cider is that, yes, we make 100% of it on site right here at Heemans. We ferment it, we store it, we cellar it, we bottle it, we label it, and we sell it here. And we don't sell it anywhere else. We sell it on our farm, and we sell it online where people can order it online. If you order $100, you can ship it anywhere in Ontario for free. Otherwise, it's a $25 order and $15 freight. So it's a nice thing we've been doing for, we get orders from all over the province. Mead is, yes, Andre, my man, Andre, good job, buddy. So mead is made from honey. It's a fermented honey. So you take local honey from our hives, and then you add water and you ferment it. So again, adding that process of fermenting it in, and it's basically also known as honey wine. So with our meads, we generally make them on the lighter side of the alcohol spectrum. So they're between 5 and 14%, but they can go all the way up into 18% and higher. So because there's a lot of sugars in there, and alcohol is made when yeast consumes those sugars, the byproduct is alcohol. When you have a really sweet honey, you can get really sweet or really alcoholic stuff. So with a lot of ours, just because it's made from honey does not mean it's going to be extremely sweet. We have a couple new ones that are coming up before the end of the year that are not going to be nearly as sweet. Like you're not thinking about drinking honey. It's gonna be a different thing than that. And then this just takes us up to the front here. And then when you get up to the front, you'll notice that we have converted this area a number of times because of the pandemic, because of the season, because of whatever. But at our peak, we have over 12 checkouts that we have that are open for people. And again, you might have noticed that everywhere we've gone, we've never heard like a rickety because there's gravel or anything like that. It's completely paved all the way through. And then we have our checkout area that's here. So this is where, if we're very, very, very close. If we could walk through a wall, that would be very impressive. But if we walk 12 feet that way, we'd be right back where we started with this entire tour on the other side of that wall. As you can see right here, we have our mission here at Heemans is to be your local connection to flowers, flavor, and fun. So that's having fun and enjoying all the great things that we have, both plant related and local produce and otherwise. And then one of the things that we're really proud of is that some people call Heemans their happy place. So if you, I think this day and age, it's really important to have a happy space, a happy place where you can kind of go and feel great. And so our goal is to be that for people. And fortunately, some people definitely tell, every time we have somebody say, oh, I'm back in my happy place, that makes this day maker very happy. And we do, there's a question from Jim and Wendy again, if we have jams, and we do. So we actually, to be honest, Jim and Wendy, the hardest part for us is keeping the jams in stock. But we do all kinds of different jams. This is our strawberry rhubarb jam, and we do a whole bunch of different ones. We also have, this is a blueberry, and if anyone is in that category, this is blueberry. And you can tell that this is our no sugar added for those who might be diabetic or just looking to cut down their sugar. So we do have that as well. It's not in every one, and it's not always available because frankly, we can't make them fast enough. But we do our darndest. We try. Oh, thanks, Jim and Wendy. That's so nice. Yeah, so we're gonna just head over to our berry beanery, and then we're gonna we can take any other questions at that point if people have them, and then we can do. I think we're right good on timing here, so that's great. I really appreciate your time today and you tuning in. I know how valuable everyone's time is. So we sell lots of different produce here at the farm, and traditionally people would come in here and be able to order, and then we'd have strawberries and other produce that's just beyond that. This year and last year, because of the pandemic, we recognized that it wasn't going to be as convenient for people to get in, or it would be a challenge with all the lineups and spacing and stuff like that. So we created the first ever produce drive-through in the province. So probably the healthiest drive-through in the city and probably in Ontario, but people would be able to drive up. We converted a storage container, painted it all up, put a giant refrigerator unit on it, and you could drive up on both sides like a regular drive-through, place your order at the first window, pick it up at the second window, and you could order everything from strawberries and raspberries, asparagus, peaches, sweet corn, everything that we sell produce wise, except for obviously we couldn't fit a giant refrigerator unit in our espresso machine, so we couldn't do coffees and sundaes in there, but all the produce. And we know that we've heard from a lot of people that it was a lifesaver just from a timing perspective, whether it was a pain to get in and out, or you could just whip in, or you didn't have to take everyone out, buckle them, unbuckle them, put the mask on, get in line, do all that. So it was really something we did to try to make Heemans a little bit more convenient, to make it so it was easier to get your produce that you wanted. Yes, the drive-through was one of many COVID pivots that we did, and that one is one that we're working now on, like our official site plan and like future plans to make sure that we can have a more permanent fixture of like having that thing be here with us long term. So when people do come in, we've again had to kind of like change everything up with our spacing, but we have our different gift boxes that are here. These are made from tobacco kiln wood, and so they are made locally in St. Thomas, and there's no waste on the packaging. It's recycled paper, and then the box you can reuse. And then we have our jams and honeys. as well as pickles. Our pickles are good, Wendy and Jim. I'm picking on you there, but these pickles, we don't really talk about the pickles too much because we cannot make enough of them. Last year we sold out of pickles for the year. We had them in stock on October 1st, and we sold out before December, and they didn't come back until this October. So when the pickles came in, we had people buying them by the cases. They were loading them up. But these pickles are made with local garlic, local dill, and local cucumbers, and then they slice the tips. I don't know about any of you guys, but usually when I get pickle, I cut that end off, but when they do that, it all settles in. And if you look at how, Allie, bring that down here. Look at this. Look at how tight and packed they are. These are all hand applied so that there's no air or there's no extra wasted space in there. There's just 100% pickles in there. Well, 100% pickles and brine, okay, but you know what I mean. So the last stop on our tour is one of the things that I grew up obviously in this business, but I wanted to get some perspective on other people doing this kind of business, and so I moved to New Zealand. What part? How far back? Okay. So as I mentioned before, I grew up in the family business, so I've grown up around this business, but what I wanted to have was a little bit more perspective. So after I graduated from university, I moved to New Zealand and I worked at a garden center down there. And at that garden center, if you basically go anywhere in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, you go to a garden center, you would always expect to have a coffee shop, a place to get a good cup of coffee. So when we were there, my grandparents came to visit me as well. And after that, we were inspired to do that. So now we have drip coffee as well as lattes, espressos. We have a brand new, very fire engine red espresso machine right from Italy. But so we can make all of those drinks as well. So when people come in here, we don't have a large food offering because if you see the space we're working with, we just don't have enough room at this point to do all that stuff. But if you are looking and you do come out, you've never been, we do milkshakes, we do strawberry sundaes and shortcakes occasionally. Right now we don't have any of the shortcake because it's kind of out of that season. So if you want a milkshake or you want a sundae, we can definitely make that. But we do a whole bunch of different teas and coffees and espressos and different things. So we have a sign right now. We have our macadamia nut lattes or eggnog lattes. We have a caramel ginger crumble sundae.
Whoa.
I know. And then we also have like a white macadamia nut or chocolate orange mochas and a whole bunch of other different stuff on our seasonal menu. So unfortunately, it can't be enjoyed in here right now because we just don't have the seating, but normally we would have that as well. So hopefully we can get back to a day where you might be able to see my ugly face instead of this mask, and then you'll be able to actually enjoy your coffee in here as well. My favorite is a flat white. So if you ever come in and you talk to Selena, you just be like, I'll have the Will Heemans special, and she'll know to make you a flat white. Anyways. See, I have our team knows me too well. It's like, I just point to them like, can I get my usual? And they're like, flat white, got it. Yep. On it. So
Awesome.
anyways, that is the little teensiest bit of Heemans. We didn't talk about strawberries. We didn't go into the production areas. We didn't go look at tropical storage or anything like that. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed your hour. I certainly have. And I appreciate you guys tuning in to watch and all the great questions that you have. So if you have any others, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll turn it back over to you guys.
To me.
That's right.
Well, while we wait for questions, on behalf of the Alzheimer's Society, thank you so much, Will, for hosting us today.
Yeah.
Thank you for touring us around. Thank you for giving us the inside scoop of everything going on here at Heemans. And I know that they'll be definitely, there we go. Everyone's already coming. Everyone's already posting that they'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh, another great tour. They love it. So thank you so much, Will. That was wonderful. And I know everyone is excited to get in here. Come get their holiday tour. Come check it out. So again, thank you, Will.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a question on we do with our gift boxes, if you wanted to either give us a call, it's 519-461-1416, or if you're Googling, if you're smart enough to get on the Zoom and you don't have it, you can find it online. I mean, we're in business to try to make it easy for you guys to get a hold of us, so you can find that information. or you can email orders@heeman.ca. We'll be able to basically custom build any basket that you want. We have some predetermined ones. You can even order ahead online. So there's a question, I think, from Wendy and Jim or somebody about online ordering. You can actually order the gift boxes and cider online for curbside pickup.
Nice.
And we'll ship the cider, but not the gift boxes, because those things are heavy and delicate. So we don't want anything to break with them. But we can custom build any of those. So we do offer them to people if they're looking for any of those. And yeah, we have some people that order. We have one person order 260 bottles of cider, so that's a fun party to be at. Client gifts and such. But yeah, and I just want to say we appreciate you guys tuning in with this, and also the Alzheimer's Society. My grandmother had Alzheimer's for 10 years, so we know what it's like to live through the experience and to be supporting a loved one going through that. And so yeah, it's definitely a cause that's near and dear to our heart. So my heart goes out to all you guys as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much, Will. Thank you for showing us around. That was our last Adventures with Allie for 2021, and we'll see you in 2022. Thanks so much, everybody.